Hit it where every rapper get killed like pluck, 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 pluck with a knife at. Cut, cut, cut where your life at. Career's over, he slumped over, and then for my
Appreciate that.
This is ridiculous to me that this still goes around that the Straw Hats won't get Conqueror's Haki. What we know so far is that Luffy is the only one that has Conqueror's Haki, but looking at statistically, looking at like the Pirate King, Rocks, Navy. Well, we only know one person from the Navy that has Conqueror's Haki. But in hindsight, there are a lot of conquerors throughout One Piece world and the New World. And in the New World, there are hundreds of conquerors. Even though Conqueror's Haki is 1 in a million, there's thousands of pirates, millions even of pirates in the New World. Well, what I'm trying to get at is that from the Straw Hats crew, there are obvious candidates that could and will, in my eyes, will receive Conqueror's Haki. And the people that would unlock Conqueror's Haki are the 5 from the East Blue. Hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not saying they all will, but they all have the potential to awaken it and have it. Luffy, obviously he has it. Zoro, Zoro, the greatest swordsman. Nami, the cat burglar, but she has a strong will and a strong personality where in any situation she thinks on her toes. Even though she shows that she is scared sometimes, she still has potential of becoming a king or a conqueror. Usopp wanting to be a great warrior of the sea, he will have to have Conqueror's Haki to showcase he's brave and he has the personality and the traits of a king. And last but not least, Sanji, who's parallel to Luffy and wanting to find the One Piece for Luffy and finding the All Blue for Sanji. I think those two are linked. I have future videos on what those could be. Sanji, he's part of the Monster Trio. He has royal blood. And when it comes down to it, he has leadership skills and the will of a king. But today, we're talking about Zoro. And among the Straw Hats, Zoro is the most likely to have Conqueror's Haki. When it comes down to the Straw Hats, the crew is a unique crew where there are different kings in the world and different traits that kings show. And here are some of the traits. Centered and decisive, standing 10 toes down in their beliefs and what they mean and what they want. They don't back down from villain other than like Usopp and Nami, but they stand, when it comes to it, they will die for what they believe in. They live in honor to protect. They protect. Almost every arc is a protection arc or rescue arc of them somehow saving a kingdom, a princess, or a friend. And another trait is to create order and inspire others to move forward. And seeing that Luffy is the captain, he automatically has the role of showing traits of a leader. Then we have Zoro. When Luffy isn't around, he straightens the crew out, and they look at Zoro for leadership other than Nami, because she's the navigator. If she wasn't a navigator, Zoro will be in charge every other opportunity when it comes up. And last, leaving a legacy behind everything and everywhere that they go. If you look at the Straw Hats, everywhere they go, they leave a footprint or a thumbprint in the community or the island that they've been to, leaving in the hearts that the Straw Hats are different from any other pirate and that they have a good heart to... Okay, while looking at the crew, Luffy, obviously, he's the king of kings. He will be the king of pirates. From what Dong Jing Chao said, what kind of king you want to be, and that there are many kings in the New World, and you must conquer them all to become the pirate king. So, in hindsight, Luffy will be the king of kings. And if he doesn't have kings on his crew, then that's an obvious problem for his goal of being the pirate king. Zoro is a king on his own, regarded as a character that says and surprise. Zoro is a king of his own regard on other characters, saying that they are surprised that he isn't a captain, and that he has a strong personality and a strong aura around him coming from Rouge and Kuma. The only reason Zoro follows Luffy is because of his own morals and the fact that he pled his loyalty to Luffy in the episode where he was rescued by Luffy from being killed by Captain Morgan. In that episode, he's going to be executed for protecting a little girl, even throwing away his dream of becoming the greatest swordsman. And to become the greatest swordsman, he must conquer and beat the greatest swordsman of recent time, who is Mihawk. The fact that he shows constantly that if Luffy ever misses a step or falls behind, he will take Luffy's head or even leave the crew himself. That sometimes a conqueror would say if he was following behind someone else. Just like Rayleigh or just like Katakuri. In Rayleigh's case, he and Zoro come from same... In Rayleigh's case, Zoro and him come from the same circumstances, that they were minding their own business when Luffy and Roger came up to him and asked them, from seeing their strength alone, that they should join his journey and become the world's greatest pirates together. And with Katakuri, his mother is the queen of pirates, in that when she's not around, he is the captain and the leader of his family and the crew. People say Zoro isn't a leader, but sometimes Luffy isn't acting accordingly. He checks him and straightens him out. Sometimes people say Zoro isn't a leader, but sometimes Luffy isn't acting accordingly. He's checked him several times, straightened him out. For example, the situation with Usopp and the fact that Luffy was going to let Usopp walk all over him and let him back on the crew without any consequences, or even pleading or begging to come back on the crew. That, in my eyes, is a king. Second is that Punk Hazard, he told Luffy, these aren't pirate games. This 2 years we've trained to become and show the world that we are the next pirate king or pirate crew to conquer the new world. Second is that Punk Hazard, Zoro told Luffy that these aren't pirate games we were playing after being knocked out by the Yeti Cool brothers. He said these past 2 years we've become stronger to achieve our dreams. And also the fact that Zoro told Luffy to forget about Sanji when Sanji left the crew to go to Whole Cake Island. We have our own problems. We already have to deal with Kaido, and now Sanji putting us in a worse situation with Big Mom, another Yonko. In leadership role, that is the most obvious way of showing that in a strategy role, going after the 2 strongest pirates or even beings in the verse at the same time would not be a good strategy. And the fact that the crew is broken up, split, and Sanji left on his own regard, not thinking about the situation that they're already in, even though he was. We're not talking about that. Zoro didn't know that. Zoro didn't go to Whole Cake, and we still don't know if Sanji and Zoro are even going to talk about it. But that's another trait for leadership. He has plans, and he knows that the situation that we're in, we can't handle another emperor. Now, given the fact that in the recent chapters, Rocks and Roger have multiple king Haki users on their crew, for Luffy to complete with the others and somehow surpass them, his crew must have multiple king Haki users on their voyage. The Rocks and Roger and every single Yonko or top tier that has another king or multiple kings on their crew. Starting with Roger, who had Rayleigh, maybe Scopper Gaban, and maybe Bullet. And we know for a fact Shanks eventually developed Conqueror's Haki. I have another video on that, on why Shanks probably has Conqueror's Haki, but we'll talk about that later. And the Rocks, who had Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, Shiki, pretty much is guaranteed he had King's Haki. And just naming off those people, that's nearly 5 people that have King's Haki on the Rocks crew alone. And for Luffy to only have himself, that would be ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure on Shanks' crew, Ben Beckman, Yasop, and maybe Lucky Roo might have King's Haki. I'm not saying like people just throw around King's Haki, but they don't have to have the strength of a King Haki or Conqueror's Haki. It's Luffy. They would just have to have traits of a king and the will to overcome others with weaker wills without having to fight them. That's basically the point of it. For Luffy, I can't talk. For Luffy, he had potential kings that follow him. The difference is the fact that they follow Luffy willingly and want to help him achieve his dreams, while Luffy wants to be the freest person in the world and wants to achieve his and his crew's dream at the same time with a journey or a voyage. Zoro has his own ambitions, and if he wasn't with Luffy, he would try to achieve his dream by any means necessary. If it was a marine pirate bounty hunter or a revolutionary, most likely not a rev. But if he had his own crew, he would be a very strong and stern leader that would never waver from his path and demand and get respect from any and other pirate peers that come in his path. There are different kinds of kings and conquerors in the world. This is Sir Rugga. Comment if you want to expand on your ideas or my ideas. Like the video if you want to like if the video caught your attention, and subscribe for more content on the way. And Mawa, Magan.